ọmọ Ìbàràpá lápapọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àti ọmọ Yorùbá lápapọ̀ tìlẹ̀ tó kó ẹ̀mí àbọ̀ ẹ̀bá nǹkan mọ Adéyẹmọ. Chief Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho orúkọ ńlá tí ń jámọ̀ láyà bí àrá orúkọ tó ń dẹrù bó lórúkọ gan-an. Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ má sọ torí pé wòrà a kò lè fojú kégbodò láyé títa ríro lẹ̀dá ńkọlà wúrà tó máa dán alànà kọjá dandan o. Ọ̀wọ́n irin ní má bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ̀nà ẹ̀dá kan lè ṣì wá lọ́nà mọ́ ẹjẹ́ àfìmọ̀ṣọ kan ká lè débi re ẹ̀já jọ gbárùkù ti Sunday Ìgbòho ṣá ọmọ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ nílùú Alágbàdo Òde ọmọ Atapẹ̀tẹ̀ wọnú omi ọmọ dèdèrè wodò sànyà ìsànyà ò rẹ́ràn bàbá yín láyìn ìdí omi kò sì náà ń kán sí yín lẹ́nu ọmọ òkúta mẹ́ta òkè Ìgbòho ìkan ń ṣe yín ní dápàdàbọ̀ ìkan ní mọ́ rọra ìkan tó kù nígbà tí wọ́n mọ̀ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ kí ló dé Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ sí ọmọ òpópó sánràn ìgbàgede Ìgbòho sùn wọn láláìsí bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọn ní kó ní bẹ̀rẹ̀ ó máa kó bẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ ẹ̀sìn òní bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ bẹ́sìn bá bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho áfíkan pọpọ sí amúkan yòókù bọ sànyà àtúmúyà rẹ̀ tí ò lọ́rọ̀ gbọ́ àfiṣẹ́rù wálé wàràmùjẹ ọmọ onílé ọ̀la àwọn àjòjì tó ń ṣe ṣègéṣègé tán láwọn ò ní bomi kó sí mu wọn láwọn ò ní bomi sànyà wẹsẹ̀ ìgbà tójú kò fi rí ńkọ́ gbogbo wọn náà sáré bomi kó sí mu wọn sì bomi sànyà wẹsẹ̀ ọmọ abẹ́rẹ́ mẹ́ta òde ayé ọ̀kan ṣẹ́ ọ̀kan tẹ̀ ọ̀kan tó kù ní gbogbo ayé tí wọ́n ránṣọ kiri gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá Sunday Ìgbòho onírèlẹ̀ láéláé torí àbá lásán nìkan ń dá òkúta ò ṣe gbé fún wọn o ìmọ̀ràn lásán ni ti balùwẹ̀ kò pọ́sibú kó dòdò láyé ń bí ó kún díẹ̀ tí tọ́ domi láéláé ìtọ́ nílé domi Sunday Ìgbòho arógun má ti bí tó jà fẹ́tọ̀ Yorùbá ní tilé tó kó.
Bọ́dá Island àgbà lẹ́bí blue check jákàmọ̀ 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 lọ́sìgbò lọ́sìgbò ìgbò wọ́n gbá tí wà confused the man is too much 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 jákàmọ̀ jákàmọ̀ let's go.
The cost of fuel has gone up. Food and other prices have followed it. Households and businesses struggling. Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there's not.
Wow. We're just getting ready. We're just getting ready on the Star Radio UK network. We'll be on in just about a few minutes. Just bear with us. As I always say, Yoruba Nation, Yoruba Nation, Yoruba Nation. Let us, start with days in 2024. Bear with us. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. And there's still a lot going on. We are just going to be joining the network right now, but bear with us as we start with this. And I say thank you so much to those of you that have joined us as we kickstart the full program.
Saying relatively, I sent money to my parents back home because of once in a decade vacation.
Wow, it is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's start with this. Let's start with that. A very good evening and welcome to 2024. It is the Star Radio UK. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in
wọ́rọ̀ ilẹ̀ nù mí. Mo ní igi lábẹ́ nígbò ìgbò. Ìgbò ìmọ̀ mi wò lọ. Àràbà ìwà ìgbìyànjú kò dó máa kó wà láyé lọ. Igi ayọ̀ wà lóhun tó máa fi ṣàràbà lóore. Oníwíwọ́ ní káràbà ìlọ́wọ́ láwùjọ igi. Onílé wò é, kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ wò.
I say good evening and welcome to Naija Voices. It is the Wednesday edition, and again, as I always say, if it's not the finest African and Caribbean radio station, it cannot be anywhere. I say good evening and welcome to Naija Voices. It is the Wednesday edition. It is the 3rd day of the month of January. As I say, good evening and welcome to Star Radio UK. I say thanks for listening and just sit back. It is just coming up to 7 minutes past 6 p.m. Share the broadcast. It's going to be an interesting evening.
Yorùbá ìrònú kẹ́lọ́ fi mọ̀ ṣọ̀kan. Ọ̀sán ló pọ̀ kan ìwà ká. Kò máa gbọ́dọ̀ wò. Àwọn ní èbùdó owó láwùjọ.
Do you think that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu can sort out this insecurity in Nigeria? For 63 years, we were told that Nigeria would be safe. Buhari, 8 years, it was a complete failure. share the broadcast. I have a very, very, very interesting guest to talk about insecurity in Nigeria. I say good evening to all our listeners. Happy New Year and welcome to the first program of the year on the Niger Voices. Shout out to those of you in the northern part of Nigeria. Our greetings and condolences to those of you in Plateau State. President Bola Tinubu, has it failed? What can we talk about when it comes to the insecurity in Nigeria? I've got a security analyst that will be telling me everything I need to know when it comes to the security situation in Nigeria. I'm sure many Nigerians have seen the video of those that claim to be Lagosians, Lagos indigenous, but they are from Fulani ethnic part of the Futajano. How did we get to where people can just become Nigerian military and they are claiming to be from Lagos? Share the program. It's going to be an interesting evening with me on the Star Radio UK. Shout out to my producer, Mr. Frank David and Mr. Archie Amon. We had a bit of technical glitch from the number 10 down the street, but next week it's going to be much better. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. Many of you call me different names, but on this platform it is called the Niger Voices. As I say, it is good evening and welcome. I hope you had a very great time. Eshu Day was interesting on the 24th of December. Christmas Day was fantastic. What about New Year's Day? The Chinese are not celebrating on the 1st. They have their own New Year's Day. Can we ever believe the politician? Put it in the comment section and let me hear from you. Can we now say that Chief Dr. Sunday Igboho is justifiable after being almost killed because he wanted to say the insecurity in Nigeria is not just alone in the southwest, it's almost every part of Nigeria. I say good evening and welcome once again. Share the program, invite your friends and family, and let us take you through the evening with myself. I'll be telling you the traffic. Let us start with the daily quote. The quote for today says, many of us want to be successful. Is it possible to be successful with the current situation in Nigeria? Do you just pray and be successful? Do you think that being a prayerful person will make you a successful person? Well, success is not like striking gold by chance. It has to do with brick by brick process. What you have to do is you start it small, then you move gradually, but sometimes there might be luck. We've seen people that have become famous within just 3 hours on the social media, but when you don't have a government like Nigeria that can make you to be a very, very successful people, and you are praying, many of you are praying so that you can be a successful person. But what I can tell you is, it will be brick by brick process. You start from A, and then go through the process until you get to number Z. Nigeria. Where do we start from? What went wrong? what can we say? We can talk from now to thy kingdom come, but if we do not do nothing, a lot of people will die. The lives of many Nigerians tonight is now in danger. We are literally going to be telling you as much as we can, and I'm already running out of time. But let me say tonight, I just want to remind many Nigerians that believe that there is a hope in Nigeria. There's no doubt about it if you believe so. For somebody like me, I have already lost hope in what I call a country that cannot defend itself is a failure. Nigeria is a failed country. It was never a country because we have 350 different languages. Igbowo and Professor Banji Akintoye said it all. But many of you refuse to listen. And I will start from here so that we can get the grasp of the understanding of the menace going on in that country called Nigeria. And let's start with this.
In this state is under assault. There's an attempt at ethnic cleansing in this state and of course in all the riverine states of Nigeria. We must resist it. We must stop it. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude.
Okay.
They collude. They collude with the armed bandits that kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them.
Okay.
If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one.
And many people have been dying. And I can just take you straight to the next one. This is from Plateau State. As they are now talking, let's hear from this very beautiful sister, which we got from Nigeria.
Do you know that most of these places that are under attack in northern Nigeria have some of the biggest natural resources underneath the ground? And the trading of those natural resources are going on while people are being killed in those communities. Do you know? Now let me bring you up to speed real quick. If you realize some of the most fertile lands in northern Nigeria are the ones that are being attacked. Most of our fresh, beautiful vegetables and fruits come from Plateau State. Do you know what is underneath those beautiful fertile lands? It is also solid minerals. Guza. For some of you who know, you know. People are killed daily while miners are mining those lands. How can you raise down an entire village? Bring it down to ashes. Evacuate everybody there and go behind their backs to go and be mining their gold. How wicked can you be? Do you know that it's also affecting not only our economy, but also the food supply for the common man who cannot afford to eat? I am a farmer. Yes, I'm an agri-entrepreneur. I deal with grains. And the rate at which food is going to be scarce in 2024, you are not ready for it.
Are we ready for it? Good evening and welcome. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. Like I said, it's going to be a very, very busy night from here in London, where we are transmitting from. The insecurity in Nigeria has now gone into a different level. Many Nigerians have been massacred and killed, but yet the international community are sitting back and not doing much. As much as it is happening in the real world, in the real timing, the question is, can the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu deal with the menace? Let me remind us that Buhari failed to deal with the problem. The former President Muhammadu Buhari could not deal with the problem. What was the reason why he could not deal with the problem? Could it be that again and again, as many of us continue to lament, many of us continue to ask questions, Why is Nigeria where it is today? What is the solution? What should we be asking for? Like I said, let me bring in a guest of mine that is ready to take us through the real conversation tonight, because there's a lot to discuss. He's a security expert. He's been one of our consultants and a security analyst and a friend to the Star Radio UK. We have been together in the journey of finding the solution to the insecurity in Nigeria, but maybe tonight he might be able to tell me whether the current administration is serious in dealing with the insecurity. And I say good evening to you, Mr. Femi Aratokun Ale. I hope I pronounce it very well, because it seems that each time I don't pronounce your name very well, I get called off.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, you try this time around. At least I'll give you 40%.
40%? Okay, Happy New Year to you. There's not laughing, it's not a laughing matter. There's a lot happening. Lives of Nigerians are on stake. Let's go straight to it. What is the weather like in your location? I know you're back in London. And when was the last time you were in Nigeria? And for many of us that are probably not aware of my security consultant and analyst, I will let him first introduce himself so that we can get the background, whether he's capable to give us exactly what I want to know tonight. So I will leave you to just give the listeners the benefit of doubt, what you do, and why we have decided to bring you back again tonight, which is the first radio station in London, the African and Caribbean radio station, the Star Radio UK, but also the first segment of the 2024. I am concerned, I don't know whether you are. Let's hear from you. Who is Mr. Femi Aratokun Ale?
Hello, my name is Femi Aratokun Ale, and I'm a security consultant, and I work as a security personnel consultant and equally a close protection officer to A-list and elite and vulnerable people in UK and around the world. However, 2023 has come and gone. I left Nigeria last year, October, back to UK and to be with my family and friends and relatives here back in United Kingdom and start back to work. The situation in Africa is not far-fetched compared to what we have in Nigeria, what Nigeria is currently going through. However, how serious are we as Nigerians living abroad, and how serious are Nigerians as well? And equally, how serious is the Nigerian security architecture in Nigeria? Or, let me put it this way, Mr. Koiki, could there be a syndicate or could there be a network that is actually making things not to work in Africa? The answer to that is yes. There are a lot of certain things happening that the surface is just like, oh, it's insecurity, but behind the scene, there is a big business going on. But the only thing that can actually use as a defense or a camouflage that will make it to look as if there is a big trouble is to steer what you call the unrest. And the only thing we can use to prepare unrest to happen is to give way for insecurity. And the only way to prepare insecurity to happen in Africa is to make us believe that unless we have what we call the criminal activities perpetrating each other, and what we give way for this perpetration of insecurity or unrest is by unleashing terrorism around ourselves. And what is the weapon for terrorism and all the rest? It's the guns. It's the killing of each other and destruction of lives and properties. So that is what we have today in Nigeria and within some part of Africa. Who are the main actors? Either we like it or not, it's tough to say, but hey, we have to just call it spade a spade. The Western world are the real actors. Either we want to believe it, or we just don't want to, or we just want to shy away from it. This is what we studied, this is what we know, research has said it, and a whole lot of investigation has been carried out, but people will surely deny it that no, they are not, they are this, they are not that, they are this, they are not that. But the recent killings in Plateau State has just, showcased it back again. Is this war all about Christian and Muslims? The answer to that is no. Let us look at your state, Ile-Ife, Osun State, for example. A lot is actually happening over there. But somehow along the line, they have actually kept it and wrapped it under a big blanket. And it's ongoing, and it will continue to grow. What about Zamfara? What about Kano? What about other states? What about Nasarawa? What about the East? Port Harcourt, Delta, and all the rest? Why Plateau State? Do you think it's just because of the food only? No. The insecurity we're seeing today is not just about Christian and Muslims. Far from it. But this has got to do with mineral resources. Either we like it or not. The military, the head of states, they all know about this. This has been going on and on and on. And this is why we have the word Boko Haram. Western education is a force of the line. Because a lot of people believe it's all about Christian and Muslim. But they have to give it a title, and they have to make the belief, and they have to make a lot of people understand that yes, it's about the Christians, it's about the Muslims, yeah, let's kill each other. No. Mr. Koiki, it is far from all this. It's way, 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 way far from it. Either we like it or not, we have to look for a way to sustain ourselves, and we have to look for a way to defend ourselves.
Okay, let me come in there. You've given us a very started point, and you talked about the Western agenda. I thought we've all got independent and we are free from the enslavement of the colonial rule that we were told. The slave trade. The colonial, we negotiated in every part of Africa, and everybody's free. Why are we still getting the Western interference in Africa?
Mr. Koiki, you talk too much. You really talk too much. Why won't we? You and I left Nigeria how many years ago?
Well, it's just 25 years. It's not that long.
Just
I've got people that have
left so many years before us.
40 years, 45.
40 years. Why is it that everybody that left Nigeria are refusing to go back? Why do we have the recent migration from Africa, from Nigeria to abroad these days en masse? Why is the UK and other Western countries creating more schools, more universities, more polytechnics, more colleges? Because they are getting their returns back. This time around in a voluntary way, not in a forceful way. Do you think everybody graduating schooling here are ready to go back home? No. So what we're about to see in probably the next 20, 30 years to come, Africa will become a place of a dumping ground. Africa will become a place of specimen. Africa will start selling their souls and everything they have. Africa will no longer belong to Africans again. Because the real brains are living in for dead brains to rule. And what do they know? They certainly don't know anything. Ile-Ife is full of gold. I've got people that are actually extracting mineral resources from Ile-Ife. The same thing in Oyo State. Tell me, point to me how many gold stores you see in Ile-Ife itself. How many people are wearing good jewelries over there? Point them out to me.
I can help you.
We're not going to the north.
I can help you because I know according to the OECD in 2021, we were able to sell our gold to Dubai to the tune of 150 million, and Nigerians go there and buy gold. We might not have a gold store in Osun State, but Nigerians travel to Dubai and buy the gold.
Sadly, we travel to Dubai and Italy to buy gold, but the raw materials are leaving us and going back to Dubai, and we'll travel to Dubai at the expense of begging for visas. We will travel to Italy at the expense of begging for visas. We will travel to Dubai and all these places with high tickets, pay for accommodation and everything, at the expense of our own raw materials. Are we mad? Are we that stupid? Is this something we can't do ourselves? We can do all this ourselves. But because we have a government that is not enabling to provide the platform to let us do our things ourselves.
Let's start.
Have you forgotten the fire? Hold on. Don't let us go too far. Let me bring you back home one more time. We have cocoa produce. We have cocoa products in the West and in Benin and all the rest. How many chocolates do we produce in Nigeria? Tell me. How many? Let us start from something very simple. How many chocolates do we produce in Nigeria? How many chocolates do we produce in Ondo State? How many chocolates do we produce in Edo State? How many chocolates do we produce in other states? Yet, we have food and science tech students. What are they taking on? What is the result of their courses or their training in schools? How come we have so much hotel and catering management and we can't produce anything? Our doctors and nurses are moving out. Procter and Gamble company just closed up in Nigeria. What are we heading to? And we think we have government. 25 years ago, remember when you were taught in school? Young shall grow.
Let's start with the previous.
You are the leader of tomorrow.
Let's start with the previous administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. Myself and you remember, we were able to, at least, attend some of the events as Buhari was coming in 2014. The campaign was in London, and we were all told that as an ex-military personnel, he will be able to tackle and right there, the insecurity. The current president literally sold Buhari to Nigerians. We're going to come to him, but I wanted us to go back just after 8 years. What would you say the performance of this same man that was presented to us in UK and around the world as the best president that would deal with the insecurity? Buhari, the former president, have left now. 8 years. We've not been able to have this conversation. We spoke while he was in office. I will come to President Bola Tinubu in a minute. But let us start it from the former president, Muhammadu Buhari. What is your own take? What is your own assessment of these former president that we all thought something was going to change?
Well, you see, I was equally asked the same question when he came to power, or some few days to his inauguration on TVC News. I remember very well I was asked the same question, and I remember having this conversation with some of my friends in London, in some forum as well. It was more like a tug of war within a lot of people. The past administration turned brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, friends and uncles, turned them to each other, turned them to become enemies overnight. All in the name of, he's going to do the same thing he did in 1983. He's going to perform so well. He's going to put up discipline. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. Yes, a lot of people believe in him. Yes, people saw him as somebody that's going to put a whole lot of wrongs to right. Fine. But he came in, sadly, he came in not as an active president, but as a weak and the weakest link of all presidents that we've ever had. Yes, he was actually sold and campaigned to us as the Messiah that's going to turn things around. He's got one of the best, brilliant vice presidents you can ever have. Yemi Osinbajo. But what happened? So we don't really need to blame him. We need just to blame the whole team. Because it's not just only him that is performing. A lot of people around him are equally performing. But do they perform well or they perform woefully is what we should be asking ourselves. The answer to that is no. They all performed woefully. So the scorecard to me is not even 0 over 100, but perhaps minus 0 over 100. So that means we have a long way to go.
So what we are saying is that the president has sat there, had a budget for military for 8 years. You're telling me that you cannot pass him with a 1 mark.
I can't. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I
So
cannot.
then, what happened to all the budget?
Let me tell you why I say there is no pass mark for him. We're talking about someone that's run this administration as far back as 1983. Apart from that, it was part of the team in the 70s as well. So that simply means he knows the back and forth of Nigeria. Don't forget, he happens to be the former chairman to Petroleum Trust Fund, PTF. What are we talking about?
Was his government hijacked? Do you believe that maybe his government was hijacked and he was unable to perform? I'm talking about President Muhammadu Buhari.
Do not let us. You see, when we talk about government being hijacked, let us start from this angle. Was there a policy in place before you can hijack a government? Yes, there was a policy, but I think the policy were just weak policies or just policy for the few, not policy for all. This is what I see. If you can make a turnaround to arrest Kanu, what's his name?
Nnamdi Kanu.
Nnamdi Kanu, if you can arrest Nnamdi Kanu overnight just like that, if you can make the Ziani not to come into Nigeria just like that, if you can make some serious arrests happen, then why can't you turn the whole thing around? You allowed your son to come to Edinburgh to come and school. So you're part of the destruction when it comes to education as well. You allowed your daughter to become one of the directors in petrol in NNP and NNPC. So you're part of this destruction as well. So what happens to the brains and the brilliant boys and ladies we have that left through petrochemical studies and everything in the East? Do you think they can't turn things around in NNPC? They can. But why can't we just allow things to roll the way it should roll? That means the policy is just for the few. The policies they make is not for all. You and I know it, and I don't think this present administration is going to do something.
We're going to come to the present administration. I still want us to focus because many Nigerians, remember Buhari for different reasons, and it is a great opportunity that the new year of 2024, we are looking back again into his administration. That we're going to come into the present administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Buhari, as at the time he came in, he probably fell ill. Some say he died along the line, and we have a double body. I'm not too sure, what that is. But let me ask you again regarding the former President Muhammadu Buhari. 8 years down the line, do you think that just as we saw the former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, 10 ethnic black minority died, the first 10 doctors that died during the COVID were all from the minority, the BME, the black minority and the Asians as well. We saw that, the COVID inquiry brought him in. I was there. Do you think that this administration will be able to set up an inquiry to review back all the spending of the budget of the military, especially when we still have Buratai that is still moving around? Do you think that this administration can do that? And just one question. The second question is, do you think that Buhari literally allowed the influx of the Fulanis, opening the border, allowed the Fulani to come into the country? Because I'll be talking about a particular video. I'm sure you've seen that video that I've generated today out of Nigeria, where people are saying we're from Lagos, but it seems that they can't speak Yoruba, and that might be another danger. These are the first two questions. This is to the Star Radio UK Wednesday edition, the 3rd of January 2024. And with me on the line is our security expert, Mr. Femi Aratokun Ali.
You see, let me break up to see all you just said so far. Yeah, that's fine. There will be no inquiries to a lot of things that happened during the Buhari administration. Take that for a fact. Why is that so? There will be no inquiries into what happened during the Goodluck Jonathan's administration. And there will be no inquiries into what happened during the Obasanjo administration. So if we've had no single inquiry towards all these people, if we've not been able to arrest and make some inquiries as in lessons in events or something like that in all these administrations, why do you not want to probe Buhari? Why do you want to probe him in the first place? That is the question. Do you think this present administration, do you think this present administration has got the power to probe a retired military personnel in Nigeria? It's never happened before. So it's going to be very hard to see who is going to do that. it will be so hard.
So that literally means that we lost 8 good years in part of the 63 years of the existence of independence in Nigeria.
We did not just lost 8 good years. We lost as far back as 1999 democracy in Nigeria. Wow. We did not just lost 8 good years. We lost all the opportunities to bring a lot of things back in Nigeria, but we lost it all. We lost morals, we lost integrity, we lost accountability, we lost capability, we lost acceptability, because we have always refused to believe we are wrong. Rather, if you try to attack the government to tell them the right thing, you become an enemy of the state. So for you not to become the enemy of the state, the worst you can just do, the least you can just let it go. So because we have allowed so many things to let go, the country has degenerated to something of what we cannot. The country is like a joke today. The only person trying to bring things to normal right now that I can see happens to be the Interior Minister. That is the only person working now.
All right, we're going to come back
because
to
solely the security and the internal security of any country belongs to the Interior Minister. So Ojo is the only person I see that is trying to turn things around.
Okay,
in Nigeria.
Let's look at
not all the administration are working.
So much security intel. You are a security expert, and I'm sure living in the UK, and there is a lot of security intel that has been passed to the Nigerian government, and now I'm moving to the present administration. A lot of us were reading a lot of information from the American government, the security here in UK were advising many of the British citizens and those that live in UK not to travel to 21 states out of 36 states. That is a complete big problem there. Just 2 days or less than few days before Christmas, going into the Christmas, massacre again in Plateau State. Can you remind us, you visited one of the IDP camps. Can you tell us what you saw and what year was that? As you said, the resources is the reason why many people have been massacred. Should we now start thinking of defending ourselves? But let us first ask you, your visit to the IDP camp, some years back, what was it like? Because we have now seen many communities leaving their community, and each time it seems that new people are arriving there, and there seems to be complete strangers.
Well, thank you so much for this question. 2016, I was in IDP camp in Borno State under the invitation of the present vice president of the country, Shetima. I was there for 3 days. It was a 3 days walking tour. It was a 3 days of visiting the IDP camp to have a one-to-one discussion with the civilian joint task force men and women. But there is a but. The current vice president saw my movement and saw the way I was interacting and what I proposed to him then. He was the governor of Borno State. What he needs to do and how effective pattern this guy should work. He wasn't comfortable with it, Mr. Koiki. He was not comfortable with it. Instead, all my advice, just went down the drain. And then when I heard he was in London, I tried to see him. It was all declined, so I had to let go. So seeing him being the next vice president or being the present vice president in Nigeria is shocking to me. That, wow, really? Pictures don't lie. I did not just go there alone. I was there as well with Mr. Peolodo, so
I remember
I went there and that, this guy is just making things up. I would never make stories up. What I'm trying to let you guys know, or the listeners understand in essence, is this. We are not yet serious to tackle the problem we have in Nigeria. We just talk about it, but we don't want to deal with it.
Okay.
The only way we can deal with it. Okay, Mr. Koiki, let me just tell you, because of of the current situation in Nigeria, because of the economic situation in Nigeria, the training program I have planned for Nigeria for the Q1 next month, I had to suspend and postpone it. A lot of security personnel were not happy at all with me now. Why? Because they believe, okay, fine, if we can't get it abroad, if we cannot travel abroad, at least you have promised you're coming down to come and deliver it for us. So what happened? So now I am not equally happy, and the government is not ready to help matter. So how do you want the security?
So what you're saying is that
Nigeria
if I get you right, you traveled to Borno State in 2016. Many of us probably never know who Shetima was. Some had some intelligence and different things. Are we talking about the same location that we had the Chibok girls? Because if you're talking about Borno State, I guess that is Chibok girls.
Absolutely.
And you actually said you presented certain things today.
I was there, yes. I was there, Mr. Koiki. My Facebook name is Femi TSG. You can go on my Facebook and you'll see pictures there. If people are not sure, let them send requests and ask for pictures. I will forward them as thousands of pictures as possible. We saw the way they were.
I know security is not something that
we have over 126, and I know we have over 126 charity workers there, I mean NGOs, that are actually just there to make money but not doing anything. Okay. Only few, maybe tens or 15 of them are actually working there.
Okay, let me because this is quite an interesting area, because I understand now that some of you, like the security expert, you said you were shocked when Shetima, okay, let's bear with him there, see if he can come back. It's very, very important. Are you still with me, Mr. Femi?
Yeah.
Okay, so you said you were shocked when Shetima was brought up as the presidential vice president of the APC, but you presented certain things to him. Is this something that you can share one or two with us? If not, I know security details, but you also said that you were unable to to get what you wanted to produce and give to him. Have you made any contact with him since he's been the vice president today? Because it seems that he might need your support, because if maybe he couldn't get it to you while he was the governor, maybe now that he's the vice president, maybe he might. Because now you're talking about training. Many Nigerians are trying to make ends meet. I don't think they have the money for kind of training. But the government of Nigeria continue to sponsor the Hajj and the Jerusalem pilgrimage when we are already in danger.
Mr. Koiki, a lot of things in Nigeria to me is just like a cartoon.
It's a cartoon.
Because when Shetima was the governor of the state, Shetima was given the free hand to import, to export, and to invite any good solutions to bring down the insurgency. He was given all the things. So it was not Borno State situation then and now is still like you have a president in a presidential suit. Borno State is like whoever is the government, there's a police. Yes. But sadly, when I met
Okay, bear with us as we try to see if we can get him back. Okay, he's back now. Go ahead, Mr. Femi.
All the women, they are often seen, and they are very well short of what they need to use to defend themselves in tackling this issue. Because remember, the face of the Boko Haram are just the faceless people, they are just the normal people in the community. But don't let us forget, before we start talking about arming people or not arming people, or people having their own weapons to defend themselves or not, Borno State during the time of civilian joint, during the time of Boko Haram, they had their own special forces. Apart from the military, the police, and the civilian joint task force, they have a different set of security personnel that are well to defend the state as well. So the question is this: has security in Nigeria turned to a thing of business, or we are sincere about bringing down the insecurity we have in the country, there's a key things we need to talk about. Don't forget, I personally wrote a Montecon proposal in Nigeria, in the West. I wrote it. This, what's it called? The Lagos State Neighborhood Safety Call that you see today in Lagos State. I wrote the proposal. After Warren, when he was there as the Security Trust Fund, first approached me and told me to write it, but I did not even understand what he was saying there. Until Ambode came to power, I wrote it. I wrote it myself. But the question is, what has happened to all these stuff we're talking about? Look, as long as you're not part of them, you have no way of bringing in any solution to the country. As long as you're not dining with them, you have no means of making it work. Mr. Koiki, don't forget, a friend, or let me say a colleague or a diaspora friend of yours is actually part of the government in Lagos State. Tell me, what has he done? Jamin Sanwo-Olu. What has Jamin Sanwo-Olu done? So if you're talking about the problem we're having in Nigeria today, if you're sticking the finger straight to those in Nigeria, equally stick the fingers to those being imported from UK back home to go work as part of the problems. Rather, they are not part of the solution, they are part of the problems as well. So let us try to balance it. We are equally guilty of not doing the best we can do. Rather, we are just being greedy and self-centered. That is just it.
We're still on Star Radio UK every Wednesday at exactly 6 p.m. to 8:30. I still have Mr. Femi with me for the next 9 minutes, and I know we might not be able to complete the whole conversation. Let's move straight now to the present administration. You've met with Shetima.
Right.
I don't know whether you met with Tinubu before he became the president at any point, or whether.
Well, I have not met with Tinubu one-on-one, but at least I have some of his key allies as I won't say friends, but yes, we've met one way or the other. And don't forget, I feature so well on TVC News. So that simply means, one way or the other, he must have seen some of my proposals in terms of security solutions and stuff. Yes.
Now
do you want to know?
Now that Tinubu is the president, is it still too early, to call it a shot and say he has not done well so far with the insecurity presently in Nigeria? Remember that we have a new set of security personnel that have taken over. Yes.
Mr. Koiki, the present PRO to police in Nigeria, and let me repeat it again, the present PRO, Olumuyiwa, I won't say is a friend, but is somebody that has actually sat down in my class within the police for training. He sat down, he came visiting, he sat down, I actually, lectured him on some few certain things, and some things he told me then. He was still the PPRO Lagos State. That was during the NSAS. But this was a person, I don't need to run down to Abuja or run down to this place and that place corner to start. The experience I had with Edgar, when Edgar was the CP Lagos State, was so terrible. Edgar came in as the Commissioner for Police Lagos State. Mr. Koiki, I'm giving you a live and bad experience that happened to me in Lagos State. I was at the press conference, his first press conference then. Edgar called me. Edgar said, "Oh, Femi, I love your question. I love your answer. I love what you're doing. Please, our police in Lagos State need training and retraining. Please, the following Monday, let me see your proposal on my table. I want to deal with it, blah, blah, blah." Wow, okay, fine. We're headed somewhere, Mr. Koiki. The following Monday, I was in Edgar's office at Ikeja. I was chased away like a fowl, like a chicken, like a goat from Edgar's office. By who himself? By Edgar himself, the police commissioner.
I am not surprised at that, because I had the privilege to meet Obasanjo's wife, some years back, and in Abeokuta, she invited us to another event happening, in their hometown, and arriving there, she said, "I never invited you, just go away." And the security detail to her said, "She's sometime like that, I should just, ignore her and continue to do what I'm doing. Let's come back to the real question right now. Many Nigerians are listening to us, and many that says we're not even Nigerians because there's nothing called Nigeria. Well, we come back to that. President Bola Tinubu is in charge. Do you think that this Tinubu is in charge? Do you think that he's in charge?
Well, let me say something to you. Tinubu is in charge, but sadly, Tinubu again might not really be in charge because Nigeria is equally divided into different parts. And it will only govern, let me put it this way, Nigeria is divided into A, B, C, D. So Tinubu is actually covering only the A, B. What about the C, D? Who is controlling them? No one.
The reason why I asked you that, because I have somewhere I'm going to, and that is the reason why I did ask you that, and that takes me to Dele Alake. Dele Alake is one of the minister for Tinubu administration, and he's been also the minister for mineral resources, which is the area that we've been literally talking about. Sometimes in December last year, this is what Dele Alake said. I'm sure you must have read it as well. He talked about the banditry and the kidnapping in Nigeria being sponsored, and I just want to get it exactly as it is. This is coming from Channels Television website. This was updated on October 23rd. Alake blames foreign illegal miners for banditry in Nigeria. He, however, assured that his ministry is taking steps to inject new technologies into the mining sector to tackle these as well. He also went further to talk about the powerful Nigerians. I don't know who are this powerful. I'm sure they have the names, but it seems that every now and then in Africa we are scared to name names. But in Europe, when people are powerful, we name them because we got to name them and shame them, especially when they are responsible for kidnapping, banditry, and illegal mining. I never said this. This is one of the Minister of Solid Mineral Development in this present administration. Dele Alake has said that powerful Nigerians are the ones sponsoring the banditry and the kidnappings in the country. He has also accused them of being behind illegal mining in the country. I'm asking you again, do you think that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is in charge of Nigeria?
Just like I said before, the current president is in charge of Nigeria, but the current president is not really in charge of all these insecure areas. Why is that so? I will let you know. If you want Nigeria to work, if you want insecurity to turn to real-time secured environment in Nigeria today, there are certain people that are responsible that need to sit together and work. And one of the key people is the Minister of Mineral Resources, the Interior Minister, and not only the military and the police, but everybody must work together. Let me ask you a question. The foreigners we're talking about, how did they come about coming into the country in the first place?
Well, we have a lot of porous borders. We have porous borders. I'm not sure they're not coming through the normal border like Professor Moyo or KG that came in and almost got killed.
If they're not, the question is this: how are they taking all these stuff out of our country? Have we ever thought about that? How?
Okay.
Is it in their back pockets? How? So, having said that, then that simply means the Road Safety Commission has got a job to do. That simply means the National Union of Road Transport Workers have got a job to do because they know all these routes. In as much as we see them as less important, they are equally as important as saving the economy in Nigeria and saving the insecurity we have in Nigeria today. But these are key people that we need to work alongside with. What sort of passports are they using that we don't know of? Do they have a different flight route that we don't know of? So that means the aviation minister has got loads of questions and answers. Why are we not looking into all this?
Do you think that the security
are they using in trading?
Do you think
Look,
that
Mr. Koiki, what currencies are they using to trade is another thing we need to think of. Are they using dollars, pounds, or they are using euros, or they are even using CFA, any of these African currencies?
Do you think that the security system in Nigeria has been infiltrated? What is your take on that? Do you think that the present security system has been infiltrated?
It has been. Yes, it has been infiltrated, but it can be brought to book in quick time if we really mean it. When I say in quick time, it can actually be addressed and it can be tackled. If we want to tackle it, then we have to ditch what we call godfatherism, nepotism. We just have to ditch what we call anything that has to do with partisanism. A lot has got to be ditched if we want to tackle it. But the question is, do we have the willpower to tackle it? Are people scared to step on toes? Why are we scared to step on toes? Why are we scared to face it and face it square once and for all? Are we continuing to start begging? Are we going to be begging like this till eternity? Is the question we need to ask ourselves. We see our good working environment in UK and all the rest. Why can't we make Nigeria a working environment as well? Why do we want to turn Nigeria to a dumping ground? Why do we want to make Nigeria a disaster of experiment? These are questions we need to ask ourselves.
Let's talk about. It seems that there's a lot happening simultaneously in the country. Once again, this is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. It's just coming up to 1 minute past. I know Mr. Femi has got so many other engagement, but we'll see if we can just take a few more of his, minutes out of it. Mr. Femi,
thank you.
Many Nigerians are listening tonight, and the question they are asking is, how safe am I in this country? Should we start looking at other options? And if we are not looking at other options, Lagos State, you saw the video. What is your take on that particular video?
Which one?
The one
we
that
have so many videos. Which
the new video that is circulating on the social media, where people have been asked where they're from, and they cannot literally point to say they're from Lagos, but it seems that they've infiltrated whatever certificate that they've got as a Lagos indigene. Have you seen the video?
Well, I have seen the video of the two guys, being paraded, which I think is not just it's not something new, but it's just come to land like that. Oh, so this has been going. This is something that's been going on for a long time. It's something that's been going on for a long time.
Who are these people? Are they Nigerians? Let's start with that. Probably maybe they're Nigerians. They're just changing identity, to become Lagos indigene and giving a certificate.
Well, you see, Nigeria is big, so we can't say maybe they are Nigerians or not until we investigate and work deep to understand what exactly is going on. Don't forget, some schools have just been discovered that have been awarding certificates and all the rest in Nigeria and around the African countries as well, affiliated with Nigerians again. So that shows that we're not fully in grip of our own country. That shows that a lot of syndicates are actually working alongside we Nigerians ourselves, killing Nigerians and equally blaming the government. So in this case, I will not comment so much about it, but it's a disgrace, it's a shame that we can see this happening.
If you have the opportunity, one more question before I let you go. If you have the opportunity to, pass a message to the current administration in terms of what they should be thinking, rapidly, very fast, to resolve the menace of the insecurity in the country right now, what would be your own say to the president?
My own say to the president is this: if I'm given the opportunity, I will only beg him, please invite me in and let me come and work for my country for only 12 months. 12 months only is good enough to solve the problem in Nigeria. Just 12 months. 12 months is good enough to turn a lot of things around in Nigeria in terms of security. Because we have a lot of audits we should be doing, but we're not doing it. A lot of auditing. When I mean auditing, I mean security auditing that should be done, but sadly, it has never been done. So with 12 months, a lot of things can be corrected. With 12 months, you will see Nigeria turning back into a secure country rather than an insecure country that we have today.
Well, thank you so much. It seems that the same thing Professor Wole Soyinka said, that he will wait till after 1 year to review the present administration. Thank you so much, Mr. Femi. And if we're going to find you, where can we find you on the social media?
Well, basically, I'm not really a social media person, but you know my social media is just the Facebook. I'm on Instagram as TSG Nigeria. I'm on Facebook as Femi TSG. And that's all I have. And whichever way anybody can reach out to me, it's probably
do you have a website? Do you have a website? Do you have a website?
I have a website. My website is www.tsgnigeria.com.
All right.
Again, it's www.tsgnigeria.com.
All right. Thank you so much. It seems that okay. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and thank you so much for that contribution into the program. That is Mr. Femi Aratokun Ale speaking to us from his base here in London. You know, like I said, we have so much to still talk about in the next 1 hour. But for now, we say.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
This is Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
At work, on your smartphone.
Again, every Wednesday, Niger Voices, as we kickstart the next segment in just about a few minutes.
In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
The best radio show. The best radio show.
Let's listen to these and then I'll come back again.
None of you can deny that what I'm saying is the truth. You know it's the truth. But either you won't write it or you're too cowardly to speak it because you want some favor here or favor there. So because you can't talk, you are muzzled. I'm not. I'm a free black man. And I didn't come here looking for a handout. And I really don't think you need one. Your problem is that you think you need a handout. Everything you need is right under your foot, but you looking everywhere else for help instead of to yourself and what you can produce for yourself. This is Africa's dilemma. You are parading yourself before the world as international beggars when you gave civilization to the world. Your problem is not America. Your problem is not Israel. Your problem is not Britain. Your problem is your disunity and your dependence on others to do for you what you could do for yourself. So I don't have to come back here anymore to help you. The help is already here. The knowledge is already here. The land is here. The sun is here. The water is here. The minerals are here. You have some of the finest minds in the world, but they're in Europe and they're in America making money while Africa suffers. Why don't we create politically stable environment and call the children of Africa back home to help build Africa? We are your children, and we will come and help. But don't expect us to come with billions of dollars when we don't have it. We're struggling in America. But you got it all right here under your foot. And you should be ashamed not to look to yourself, begging white folk to give you what you could give yourself. What I said today, which one of these countries is going to give you $20 million? America's not going to give you $20 million. You got it right here. But your disunity won't allow you to pool it. It's your fault. And you got to accept that responsibility. That is why my message is atonement, reconciliation, and responsibility. We got to stop blaming everything on somebody else and see what is our responsibility here.
What is our responsibility? Good evening to my beautiful mom. Shout out to many of you. I will be saying shout out. You know, it was a very busy time and we started at about an hour earlier and I didn't have to say hello to you. But if you're new to the platform, this is still, again,
Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
Star Radio UK.
Every Wednesday, it is called.
This is Star Radio UK.
Let me quickly say shout out to those of you that have joined us on the Twitter space. Good evening and welcome once again. There's still a lot to discuss. Remember that the self-determination campaign continue. I'll be telling you what Professor Banji Akintoye said on the 1st of January. And that means that at 7:30, like you all know, it is all about the Yoruba language, where we talk about the right of the Yoruba people into the self-determination mode. Good evening to you, Triple DRS all the way. I hope the weather is not catching up on many of us. I was at the number 10 down the street, and it seems that the weather was very good. I couldn't see the cat. I was looking for the cat to take picture. I couldn't see the cat. Good evening to you, Gani Oloyede. Good evening to you, Wasil Taiwo says, Happy New Year, my brother. Mr. Yemi Fatoke says, good evening to you. Good evening as well, all the way in Lagos Island. All those of you in Agarawu, I say shout out to you. In the southeast, shout out to you. Many people continue to attack me because of my feelings and love for what is happening in the southeast. I understand. I can see that many of you are not happy each time you see my post, especially with the Biafrans, the government in exile, and I will tell you also what Simon Ekpa said yesterday. There must be a solution, and that solution also says that the government or the deputy House of Speaker says, and I quote today, that they are doing whatever they can do to get Mazin Amdekano to be released, and we hope that is going to happen anytime soon. Shout out to you as well, Mrs. Grace Olushoto. Good evening to you, Mr. Adeshin Adeyemo says the analysis on the New Year fuel price in the relation to the Naira to the dollar stability price in the first quarter of 2024. Kudos, wanted to give analysis. Bear with us, Bishop. I know you tried to call him, but we already had a guest who was going to be speaking. Shout out to you, Akalamago TV. Good evening to you, Babawa Omoba Abiodun Grace. Shout out to you, sir. Imole Yoruba, good evening to you and welcome once again to each and every one of you. Mrs. Chris, good evening to you. Dizzy Man 123, I haven't seen you for some time. I guess you've been very busy, but again, if you're new to the platform, I would like to welcome you like this. Well, Emma Okafor say Happy New Year to you, my brother. Many Yoruba people are in love and support the current administration. But also, many of us like myself, you all know where I stand. I don't have any problem with those that believe in Nigeria, but I just pray that the Nigeria that you believe in doesn't collapse on you. The right of the Yoruba people and the Biafras and the Arewa must be respected. And I was very, very excited when I came across another part of Nigeria where they are talking about the Fulani attacks and how they've been able to wipe off many of what has been part of Hausa land. Many of us tend to mix them together, but there's a difference between the Fulanis and the Hausa. But before we go into that again, I say good evening to you, Comrade Plan B, Ogumola Abiodun say good evening, White Lion. You also went further to say, I think that was 22 hours ago, when you also said so many things as well. If you're new to us, you're struggling to watch us on the program, go and find us on the Mix LR. It is more cheaper, and that way you can continue to listen to us. When I was looking at my statistics, 18 to 24 people are not listening to me. I'm not too sure why. It seems that you're so busy. Many of you were born in 1999. You're born under the fraudulent 1999 Constitution that many of us have been talking about. And when we say the 1999 Constitution is a fraud, you must accept it's just a fraud and nothing more than a fraud. Let's first listen to this man that was so much crying out. There's a bit of swear word, just about a few seconds. Bear with us when that popped up. Sharp, good evening to you. Almost Savage, shout out to you. Alex Mamo, good evening to you, my brother. And good evening to many of you that have joined us as well. Kezo Olowo, shout out to you. Great Yoruba Nation. Grandma Felicia Jagbe, Mrs. Doctor, I will leave that. And those are the ones that if you want to know more about the Omoluabi apparel, tonight when you look at the way I dress, always appreciate it because Omoluabi apparel says, Mr. Koiki, we want to make sure that you're doing very well. Also, in the next 10 days, something is meant to be happening in America. I'll be telling you about that because Dr. Tunde Igboho might be in America. I will give you a bit of that insight. So if you're going to be listening to me, make sure you sit back because I might be opening that once tonight. But for now, let's listen to this man.
But what is it turning into? No, what's our society turning into? Where an account has been running, it's not an account for 1,000. It's an account for millions. No, you cannot stop it because somebody needs to hear this because I don't want my patients to die. I just want to pay for 14 patients' medication. I'm not asking GT to do me any 14 favor. Just to pay for my patient's medication.
Okay, if you're not from Nigeria, you might not literally understand what this doctor is talking about. If you're a doctor and you need to buy medication for 40 of your patients and you cannot have access to your money, then there's a problem. The GT that is mentioned there is a bank in Nigeria, but unfortunately, this man could not get access to his money. And the question is, do we have naira scarcity in Nigeria? We talked about it last year, December, but many people say it was not going to be true. Remember that we brought Bishop Adesina to come and speak to us. Many of you say we would not save our money where we can have access to it. But the doctor could not have access to the money. Let's listen to the final part of the program.
For 14 days? For what? Just for patients' life? Until it becomes their MD's family members before they will move. I'm not asking them to give me any money. It's my account that I just want to run.
Okay, he has his money, but he can't have access to the money because the money is stuck with the GT. I hope they've been able to resolve it. Thank you so much, DZMA123. I was very worried that I didn't see on the trade. You also went further to say the origin of trademark is from Africa when our ancestors marked their cattle with differentiated ownership of goods. You also went further to say the reason why you've been away for 3 weeks is that you're preparing some document that you want to forward to Professor Adebanji Akintoye and the African Union. And I'm looking forward to that as well. Let's come back again to the program. 60 minutes past. Many Nigerians are still asking, why are we in danger and why is it that we cannot find a lasting solution to all our problems in the present day Nigeria? The reason why we are not finding solution to the present day problem is because Tinubu has all the solution, or maybe not. Let's listen again to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The cost of fuel has gone up. Food and other prices have followed it. Households and businesses struggling. Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there's not.
Well, there is no other way, but do we have another way? As we now have those individuals claiming to be Lagosian. I'm sure some of you have seen the video. Is it funny? It's not funny. This is the reality that we have been talking about, that we are all in danger, but many of you say you are sitting inside the UK and you are bringing a lot of panic. You are trying to coerce. You are trying to give us false information. There's nothing happening. Everything is fine. Everything is okay. And I'm wondering, what part of the world are you living? But today, as I was waking up from my bed, I started seeing different videos and different messages. The same message repeated continuously until it now becomes flooded across the different part of the social media. What is the video all about? It's about these individuals, whether they are being recruited, whether they already been recruited. But one thing is, these individuals have now been asked questions that they cannot answer. They are claiming to be from Kaduna, but yet they are also saying they are indigenous of Lagos State, from Oshodi, from Mile 12. My question tonight is, are we now in a big mess? Or again, are we just exaggerating it? Remember that my guest earlier was talking about the insecurity. Let's listen to these, and I'll be telling you a lot of reaction is already going on the social media. Once again, my name is OLAYOMI KOIKI, and this is how
Luca, where are you from? Kaduna State. What local government are you coming out from? Who gave you the indigenship certificate? What's it? Where are you from? Kaduna State. Lagos. Where did you get the indigenous certificate from? Your uncle, speak up, please.
I'm staying with my uncle. Let's not
Shoba Yoruba. Shoba Yoruba. Shoba Yoruba. Shoba Yoruba. Shoba Yoruba. You have enough for Yoruba. Mbolombe. Shoba Yoruba. Mbolombe. Mbolombe. Hello, fún ẹ ní certificate. Hello, fún ẹ. Hello, fún ẹ. Hello, fún ẹ. Local government tó ló ti wá kò sọfẹ. Ẹ ṣàpẹ kí lorúkọ ẹ? Kí lorúkọ ẹ? What's your name? What? Speak up, please. Where are you from? What? Kaduna. But you are coming from one local government. Oh? Hello, for any certificate? Kí lorúkọ ẹ? Mbolombe. You don't hear Yoruba. What state are you from? Kaduna State. Hello, for a certificate of indigenship, Lagos State. Bring it and let me see your indigenship certificate. That paper that they gave you from the local government. Huh? Where is your... Let me see. Show me this. We'll show the local government. One by one. We'll show the local government. Most of them cannot speak Yoruba at all. I don't know how. Where's the second one? Also from Oshodi, local government. I want to know how it has been done. Thank you. What?
Look at David.
Look at.
Well,
where are you from?
Let's listen to it one more time.
What local government are you coming from?
These individuals have been given a certificate of indigent. I mean, I don't know whether that is something that is new to me. Please, if you good evening to you, Mr. Boye Babawa says security in Nigeria is completely zero. What you are listening to right now is a complete, video that has now become, the talk show across different platforms. Do we say that we are just, again, overemphasizing it? There's nothing wrong in that video. What is your take on that video? Have you seen that video? I'm going to play it one more time. And I want us to take note of certificate of indigent. I mean, what do they mean by that? Are we saying that these individuals, change their identity? Who gave them the certificate of indigent? And as we say all the time, it seems that Nigeria is just a banana state. When, and I'm just trying to find out, how to get a certificate of indigent. And I'm going back to an article on the Legit website. How do I get a state of origin certificate in Nigeria without stress? There are many reasons why people require a state of origin certificate. These certificates are often needed when a person is searching for a job or wants to get into the higher education institution and so on. However, obtaining such a paper can be quite difficult. I'm not sure it was difficult for these individuals, that have this certificate from my 12, from Oshodi, and yet they can't speak Yoruba. As I always say, many of you continue to complain and worry about the Biafras and the Igbos in Lagos, but we already have those that are living with us. This is not in Ondo State. That video is from Lagos State, originated from Lagos State. These individuals did not say that they are from Southeast. These individuals did not mention that they are Emeka or Chukudi. These are mentioning names that link to people from the northern part of Nigeria. I am not here to say that they don't have the right to be in Lagos State, but how did they obtain this certificate of indigent? Where tonight, I don't even have such certificate, but it seems that Colonel Gambo or whoever that is have been speaking to people and they've been issuing certificate of indigent. And this is why I've gone back to find out what does it mean to have this certificate. Again, How do I obtain or how do I get a certificate in Nigeria without stress? This article was posted on Monday, October 25th, 2021. And it says, obtaining such a paper can be quite difficult if you don't know certain useful steps. Let's go into it. State of origin certificate required in Nigeria. You need to reach the local government facility in your area and let them know that you are interested in obtaining such document. Take with you 2 recent passport photographs of you and the passport itself. Fill out a special form which will require your personal details. Receive a bank account details from the local government to pay for the certificate. Take a photocopy of the receipt teller. Render the copy, not the original. It is important of the teller, and then wait until your certificate is printed, signed, and is due. And that is just exactly what I guess these individuals have done. But I've come across another video. The whole process with all walking to and fro will take you several hours. The popular amount for such document is about 2,500 naira. Should we say that these individuals have the right to such certificate, or do we start asking, I hope they are not the people that we are talking about? Let's listen again one more time, and let me tell you the reaction on the social media.
Who gave you the indigenship certificate? What's your name? Where are you from? Kaduna State. Lagos. Where did you get the indigenship certificate from?
I'm staying with my uncle.
Your uncle, speak up, please.
Yeah, I'm staying with my uncle, Lieutenant Colonel.
Shoba Yoruba. Shoba Yoruba. Shoba Yoruba. Shoba Yoruba. Shoba Yoruba. You have a no for Yoruba. Mbolombe. Shoba Yoruba. Mbolombe. Mbolombe. Ta ló fún ẹ ní certificate? Ta ló fún ẹ? Ta ló fún ẹ? Ta ló fún ẹ? Local government ló ti wá kò sọfẹ. Ẹ ṣàfẹ́ kí lorúkọ ẹ?
Again, I'm going again to another investigation that took place just around 2023 in July. This is coming from the cable. For a fee, a foreigner can get a Nigerian certificate of origin without ASU. I told you, Nigeria is just another zoo. You can see why the Biafrans are saying that let us come together and make a decision to exit Nigeria. Many of you don't like them, even though we know that there's nothing called Nigeria. The Yorubas are asking the same thing. Let us exit this zoological country called Nigeria. Some of you are upset each time you hear the word Nigeria is a zoo. Even the zoo sometimes have law and order. The lawlessness in Nigeria today remains there because anyone can just come into Nigeria and become a Nigerian citizen without ASU. I am not the one saying that. This is coming from the cable in July 2023, the 7th of July. And you can check it out yourself. The headline then says, investigation for a fee. A foreigner can get Nigeria certificate of origin without ASU. I don't know how you feel tonight. I don't know whether your blood is boiling. I don't know whether your blood is just in the accurate place. But for some of us that we have been on this Yoruba Nation campaign, 3 years ago, many of you accused me of bringing war to Nigeria. Many of you say I was the one that wanted to destabilize Nigeria. But tonight, many of you failed to say it exactly how it is. And this is the reason why we have said it again and again, that this country is no longer visible, is no longer independent of its own. Nigeria is no longer the Nigeria you know when we got the fake independent. I understand that many of you are waiting for the international community to come out and tell you that our right to self-determination should be the only discussion right now. Like I always say, many Yorubas want Bola Tinubu, but many of us want Professor Banji Akintoye, the leader of the movement called the Yoruba Self-Determination, that said it clearly that there is nothing called Nigeria, it is just the fabrication that was put together by the British colonial ruler in 1914. I was outside right at the Westminster Parliament today, and I could see some of the writings of 1500. Yoruba already have their own government as at the time before the Portuguese explorer. Ijebu has already been a city in the 1500, 500 years before the Portuguese explorer. But tonight, we are now witnessing in 2023, where people have now been issued a certificate of indigene, yet they speak nothing called Yoruba. But many people are concerned that the Igbos want to take over Lagos. I understand your feelings. I know that you do not want the Igbos to take over Lagos, but are you comfortable for the Fulanis to take over Lagos? The Nigerian military came out and literally said that the Yorubas and the Biafra are just as equivalent to the what we called Boko Haram. And that was something that went a little bit overboard. Why would the Nigerian military link us with the Boko Haram? Since the Nigerian government knows definitely that we have never taken arms, not against any citizen, not against even the government. We have not made any kidnapping of any politician. But yet, as of yesterday, the chairman of one of the local government in Nasarawa State regained his freedom after he was kidnapped by the Fulani Boko Haram terrorists in Nigeria. As my security expert says, terrorists or terrorism will be used to make sure that most of us will leave our community. Let's listen again at 7:31 p.m. local time in London. Do you now think that Nigeria is in the right direction, or it's coming to the end of its exploration? We know that Nigeria was just a template for the British colonial ruler, and yet 100 years have elapsed. But just 72 hours ago, Nigerians were celebrating Happy New Year. They were also celebrating the fraudulent 1914 amalgamation that kept us together in what is known as Nigeria. The negotiation of Nigeria must now be done before things goes AY. Should we start thinking? Let me read again from the cable. For a small fee, as a foreigner, you can get into Nigeria and get origin, certificate of origin without an hassle. Even those of you that have now come up with fake certificate, you can see why the useless education in Nigeria is no longer valued outside Nigeria, because many of you have told us that you have graduated from university, but that is part of the corruption that has now been witnessed in Benin Republic and likewise in Togo, where you can do a 4-year course. I've watched the video, I've read the article. You can literally do a 4-year course in under 2 months. Let me take some of your comment. Mr. Boye Manyuba says, I quote, "Remain Shibo girls are still in the hands of Boko Haram. Nobody's talking about them again. It is in fact a very sorry case. Yoruba Ileto law." And that means that the Yoruba people, it is time that we start making our way out of home. I know, Bishop, you're trying to get in touch with us. Bear with us. I'm going to bring you in just about a few minutes. Mrs. Grace Olushoto says, I know we don't have any leader or elders except for a few like Professor Stephen Adebanji Akintoye, Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igbowo, aka Igbowosha. And let me say this clearly to some of you Biafrans that continue to ask where Igbowo. Igbowo has no business with you. Igbowo has only business with the Yoruba people, and you have no right to call him out at any time. If you do so, we will call you out at some time. I've seen some of your comment. And this is why some of the Yoruba people do not feel comfortable with the Igbos. Do not call Igbo out. Deal with your current situation as we would do with our own. We are not running the same race. You run your race, we will run our own in our own terms and conditions. You will not push the Yoruba people as at the time we are ready, we will do the next move. You are doing yours, let us do our own. But each time you come out and say, where is Igbo in his hiding space? keep that to yourself. And this is why some Yoruba people do not feel comfortable with you. But I understand, because we know, myself and Oloye Igboho, that we are fighting the same cause. But let me say this clearly, many Yoruba do not accept that. I've seen many comments on the social media saying that we should stop pulling some of your messages. And I do ask them, should I start pulling the messages of this individual? Again, if you're new to the platform, this is
broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK. Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK. In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
shout out to those of you in Lagos, White Lion of our time, Tijani Abdul Beru. Good evening to you, Kennedy, all the way in Libya. And once again, shout out to the Scottish, shout out to everyone that wants to be free. But like I said, we will do it in our own terms and conditions. Let's go back again and listen to how individuals have obtained certificate of indigene in Lagos State, yet they speak nothing more than nothing. I mean, literally nothing. These individuals cannot even express themselves properly. You can wonder what and how you are being dealt with the moment they now put on this fake uniform called the Nigerian military. They will now have to deal with many of you. And that is why when some of us say Nigeria is just another banana republic, we have no iota of truth that what Nnamdi Kanu says, that Nigeria is a zoo, I would say it is more than a zoo. Let's listen to this again.
Okay. What's your name? Where are you from? Kaduna State. Ah, Lagos. Where did you get the indigenship certificate from?
I'm staying with my
Your uncle, speak up, please.
I'm staying with my uncle National Connect.
Shogba Yoruba. Shogba Yoruba. Shogba Yoruba. Shogba Yoruba.
He can hear, but he cannot speak. These are people that are now wearing the Nigerian military. Yawa Adebimpe Awoniyi. As we go into the story, as we go into the Yoruba Nation campaign, that means that I'll be speaking Yoruba. But after this, I'll be telling you what Professor Banji Akintoye said in just about a few minutes. Bear with us.
Yoruba. You have a no for an Yoruba. Mbolombe. Shogba Yoruba. Mbolombe. Mbolombe. Ta ló fún ẹ ní certificate? Ta ló fún ẹ? Ta ló fún ẹ? Ta ló fún ẹ? Local government tó ló ti wá kò ṣọ̀fẹ́. Ẹ ṣàpẹ̀ kí lorúkọ ẹ? Kí lorúkọ ẹ? What's your name? What? Speak up, please. Where are you from? What? Kaduna. But you're coming out from one local government. Oh? Ta ló fún ẹ ní certificate? Kí lorúkọ ẹ? Mo ló ń gbé. You don't hear Yoruba. What state are you from?
He doesn't hear Yoruba, but yet he has certificate of indigene in Lagos State. I'm sure this is not a film trick. I'm sure this is not acting. Let's take you to another sister that has now come up as well, talking about why the Hausas must now rise up, just as the Yoruba have done the same thing, just as many of us are saying the same thing, but it seems that the Hausa must now wake up in this mess that we all find ourselves called Nigeria. Let's listen to her.
Hallelujah. Oh, praise the name of the Lord. Good morning, afternoon, evening, from wherever you are watching this live streaming this video. Today is our welcome to Hanatus Corner, welcome to Christmas Carol Hausa Day 23. The mercy of the Lord has seen us through. His grace has seen us.
Let's listen to this one. This is the one I want us to listen to. And this one was just, almost less than 2 days ago. Let's listen to her as she explained the difference between the Fulanis and the Hausas. Remember that the Fulanis killed many Hausas during that era. And it seems that Anatu Samuel is speaking out as well.
We are again. Hannah's Corner. We will continue to talk about issues, our situations, and what we believe is the way forward, and exposing the real truth. I am a Hausa Christian, Hausa by tribe, back, front, and center, and I'm a Christian, and Hausa is not a religion, it's a tribe. We have Muslims that are Hausas, we have Christians that are Hausas, we have traditional religious worshippers that are Hausas, and just like every other tribe in Nigeria and around the world. So we have created Hannah's Corner. We have taken time to create awareness about the Hausa Christian community. And the whole north is not Hausa land. Hausa state specifically is Jigawa State, Kano State, Katsina State, Sokoto State, Zamfara State, northern part of Kaduna State, and the Zazzau Kingdom. I will not call it Zazzau Emirate because it's a kingdom. Emirate came later. Emirate has to do with Fulani taking over Hausa land. So I will say the Zazzau Kingdom. And
so
then,
you heard that clearly, Fulani taking over Hausa Kingdom. So it seems that the present Nigeria, many now are saying enough is enough. Mo afi àsìkò mo fi kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá káàkiri gbogbo ibi tí ẹ ti ń gbọ́ wa pé àsìkò tá a bọ́ sí ní wákàtí Yorùbá Nation campaign látọ̀dọ̀ bàbá wa Ìlànà Ọmọ Oòduà, the Yoruba leader under Professor Adebanji Akintoye. Ẹ jẹ́ àkọ́kọ́ gbọ́ in tí bàbá Akintoye fi ránṣẹ́ sí wa ní January 1st as his message of hope to many Yoruba people that the Yoruba Nation campaign is not yet dead. It is still ongoing. We are not running the same race. We are having our own ways, and we will do it the way according to our leader, which is the only leader in this movement, Professor Adebanji Akintoye. So let's go back and listen to what we need to know when it comes to what he said. It's about 5 minutes. It's in Yoruba. I will do the summary. And probably after that, I might put a call to Bishop Adeshino. I know he's been trying to call, but bear with us. It's a very busy evening. And I know you want to update us on certain things. Good evening once again to all our Biafrans that are listening to me. And also, after that, Professor Banji Akintoye, like I said, at about 8 o'clock, you will listen to part of what the government in exile of the Biafra, Mazi Simon Ekpa, said in his own broadcast on the 1st as well. But let's start with Professor Banji Akintoye.
Rally àdókìtì àní gbogbo rally wọ̀nyí kò sẹ́ni kankan tó farapa, kò sẹ́ni tó gbé òkúta sí ẹnìfẹ́, kò sẹ́ni tó dẹ́rù bẹ́ẹ̀ nìkejì. Ọlọ́pàá ò mú ọmọ kankan, ọlọ́pàá ò dẹ́rù bọ́ ọmọ kankan ò farapa. So àwọn alàgbà sójà wa tó yẹ ká máa yẹ sí ẹ lọ́tún rò. Àwa ò kì í ṣe security threat in Nigeria, we are not. Ṣùgbọ́n tí mi ò bá fẹnu bá kinní kan, ẹ lè sọ pé òpùrọ́ ni bàbá àyà àtàwọn self-determination struggle ẹ̀. Àwa Yorùbá à kì í ṣòpùrọ́, àdẹ̀ kì í ṣe hypocrite. Kinní kan wà tó jẹ́ kí tó yàtọ̀ díẹ̀ sí self-determination struggle wa tá a gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe. Òun náà ni wípé a gbọ́dọ̀ defend ilẹ̀ wa against àwọn Fúlàní marauders tó wá attack àwọn tó ń pa ọmọdé, tó ń pa àgbà, tó ń rèpò obìnrin, tó ń lo abúlé, tó ń destroy oko, tó ń lé gbogbo farmers wá kúrò lórí oko. Tó wá jẹ́ pé tá a bá ṣọ́ra àwa Yorùbá láì for many years to come la máa ní èèyàn after èèyàn after èèyàn, famine after famine after famine. Àwa ò dà fọ́ọ̀dù yẹn. Therefore, abẹ ìjọba Buhari kó wá defend wa. Ọdún ìjọba Buhari ò wá defend wa, ṣe ló dàbí pé wọ́n support àwọn tó wá attack wa ni. Ìgbẹ́ ènìyàn ká sọ pé àlèlájúlẹ̀ kán máa fìyà jẹ àwọn yẹn wá bí eléyìí kán máa destroy future wá bí eléyìí you have to do something. ẹ má rò pé ó easy pé ó dùn mọ́ wa láti ṣe. ẹ rò pé ìjọ tí Sunday Igboho tó dìde tó ń lọ sí Ìgàngán pẹ̀lú pé ìjọ àtayọ̀ ó fẹ́ lọ jà ní ó mọ̀ wípé risk ńlá ló ń take ìjọ yẹn ó dẹ̀ take risk yẹn because he loves his Yorùbá nation. nígbà tó dẹ̀ débẹ̀ ìjọ yẹn ìtàn kan wà tẹ́ ẹ̀ kì í gbọ́. ṣé ẹ mọ̀ wípé ara àwọn ọmọ Sẹ́ríkì Ìgàngán Sẹ́ríkì ní Ìgàngán ó mú ìbọn lápò ó yìn sí Sunday at point blank. Sunday kan jọ máa fẹ́ lọ́n jẹ ìṣe ẹ̀ òkú ẹ̀ làbá gbé wálé jọ yẹn. a ò fẹ́ expose àwọn ọmọ wa sí danger but a fẹ́ fi àwọn èèyàn wa sílẹ̀ kí ìyà máa jẹ wọ́n. a fẹ́ fi àwọn ìyá wa sílẹ̀ kí wọ́n máa rédùn wọn lórí òkú. a fẹ́ fi àwọn ọmọ kéékèèké sílẹ̀ kí àwọn Fúlàní náà àwọn lọ́nà school. No, we have to defend our land. We are forced to. It is not that we love to. It's not. That's not what we wish to do. But it's what we must do out of love for our nation, out of respect for our nation, out of sense of dignity of our nation. So àwọn tó ń lọ sọ pé àwa security kan lọ parẹ́ kúrò nínú ìwé wọn àwa ìgbé anáfẹ́ security. What the federal government of Nigeria should do is to defend our land, and there will be no Yoruba man, no Yoruba boy or girl going into the bush to go and drive the Fulani away. That's our situation. Our struggle is a peaceful struggle, and it's a struggle that is based upon law. The law of this world and the law of Nigeria says that we can seek to separate our country from Nigeria. That's the law, and we are following that law, or those laws. Okay, Gogonyo, Ako Ọdún bá wa láyọ̀, ọdún ti bá wa láyọ̀, tìjọ́ àtayọ̀ la máa fi parí ẹ̀ o. Mo kí àwọn ọmọ kéékèèké, particularly tí wọ́n ti mọ nǹkan tá à ń ṣe bọ̀ tó já wọn là ń ṣe fún. Adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run, ìwé àmọ́dún àti máa wà ní kọ́ńtì tiwa o. Lórí Ọlọ́run ló ní ká lọ ja ìjà yìí. And we must fight with faith and hope in the power of the living God to achieve anything in the world. Now we know that His mighty hand is raised up in defense of our nation, in the advancement of our nation to freedom and liberation from Nigeria. And nothing can bend back His hand. We shall prosper.
And we will prosper. That is the leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination Campaign. I'm sure you were able to pick some of what he said in English. But in Tibaban sọ fún wa ni pé a kì í ṣe hypocrite, a dẹ̀ ń ṣe threat fún Nigeria, a kì í ṣe ọ̀daràn, a dẹ̀ kì í ṣe ẹni tí wọ́n wá. Mo wà níbi tí a wà ní Downing Street tó gbé wa dé Westminster. Gbogbo yín náà lè rí àwòrán tá a ṣe láti bẹ̀. Ẹ rí i pé nígbà tá a wà níbẹ̀ mo ní Nelson Mandela nígbà kan rí wọ́n pè ní terrorist. Kódà Nelson Mandela ìjà tó ń jà nígbà kan rí wọ́n ní ọ̀daràn ni. Ǹjẹ́ wàá mọ̀ pé lẹ́nìí Nelson Mandela statue is presently right opposite Westminster Palace. Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá káàkiri gbogbo bí tẹ́tí ń gbọ́ wa káàkiri ni mo kí yín easy mo kí ẹ dáadáa ẹ̀gbọ́n mi àtàtà. Mo kí ọmọdé, mo kí àgbàlagbà, mo kí arúgbó, mo kí ọ̀dọ́, mo kí gbogbo ohun tó ń pè nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, mo kí àwọn Haúsá, mo kí àwọn Biafra, a kí àwọn Ambazonia, a kí gbogbo wọn pé ìran Yorùbá máa bọ́ kúrò nínú wàhálà tá a wà nínú ẹ̀. Tó bá jẹ́ àkọ́kọ́ yín lẹ́ máa darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Ètò bíbà yìí là ń pè ní Star Radio UK ní ọjọ́ Wednesday. Òun ni kẹ́ máa bá wa pàdé níbí nígbà tí ẹ máa gbọ́ kòdóró ọ̀rọ̀ nítorí pé àwọn pépà Nàìjíríà ò lè sọ tí mò ń sọ níbí bọ́bá dánwò DSS máa lọ gbé wọn because Nigeria do not have freedom of speech, and that is why some of us outside Nigeria are the only one that can rescue you, because Nigerians have been suppressed, they've been marginalized, and yet, like I always say, we are the final hope. Mokia TJ, all the way on the you're very far away from me, but I can see your logo right there, and shout out to many of you that are with us as well. Maybe we should listen to this, and then I prepare you what Oloye Igboho said to the Nigerian military. Don't go anywhere yet. It is still the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. This is the Star Radio UK, and this is Agaga on the Sunday Igboho Osha. When you say Sunday Igboho, do not disrespect him. We know what we are doing. The most important thing is we pray that whatever is planning to make sure that we liberate our people and give them what they want, the gods of the Yoruba land will continue to be with him. From here, Oloye Igboho, on the Star Radio UK, we are saying shout out to you and sending you good love. If you don't know him, you better do, because he's the voice of the voiceless. Shout out to you, my brother, Crown Cops, and welcome to those of you coolest_gold. Welcome to the program, Iyawa Grace Olushoto, and all the GR1 and every groups across the globe in support of the Yoruba nation. Every group across the globe in support of the Biafra movement. Every group across the globe that wants to be free from the shackles of the British colonial empire. If you don't know him, you better pass your way, because even Seriki Gogon said, you might not know him. Those that know him knows him. And again, I'm sending a strong warning to those Igbos or Biafrans that continue to call out Igboho. Stay away from him. He has no business with you. We have business with Simon Ekpa, and we are still having a great alliance. If you call him out, I will block you, and I will also continue to call you out on any of my platforms. Igboho send a message to the military. I'll be telling you that after this very powerful song from Agaga. All the way in Miami, we're saying shout out to you. Easy. Shout out to you from here on the Star Radio UK network. To those of you listening to me across the globe, we have a lot of listeners all the way in Russia, in Kenya, in Afghanistan, in India. This is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. 2024, it's going to be a fantastic year for us all. If you don't know him, you better know him. It's just coming up to 8 o'clock. After this, I'll be telling you the response by Oloye Igboho back to the Nigerian military, linking the Biafra and the Yoruba to Boko Haram. Shout out to those of you in England. If you're just coming into this country, please take note. Maybe next week I'll be talking about the students coming into the UK. Take a date now. Next week, Wednesday, it will be everything. Those of you that are arriving on the COS, on the student, on whatever platform, you must take your due diligent work. Don't think that you are being told by the agent providing you the services from UK to Nigeria, that when you get to UK, you get a property, you get a house, you get a job. A family of 6 are now stuck in London because they have nowhere to go. They were promised house and a job under the COS. All that has failed. I'll be telling you about the GoFundMe just about 8:15 p.m. It's something you need to know. we are raising £50,000 for myself so that we can continue the great work on the media and also to provide service for humanity. £50,000. You heard it very well, and we're going to raise some money tonight as well. Shout out to you, Mr. Akim Ayodele, and good evening once again to every one of you in Libya. Because of the time constraint, I'm just going to leave a gaga there because we still have a lot to cover tonight, and I have not been able to finish that as well. But again, if you're new to the platform, maybe you have not been here before, I will just say welcome. And that is for those of you that are new to the platform.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Whereabouts?
Radio UK.
On the Star Radio UK. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. You can also send us an email at info@starradiouk.com. You can reach out to us through these numbers in case you have any questions, you have any query. 0202 0208 133 2257, or you can reach out to me on all the numbers. I'm sure many of you have my number, or you can send me an email at musakalam@gmail.com or info@koikimedia.com. Now, let's talk about Sunday Igboho. Yoruba Nation agitation, not security threat. Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho replies back the Nigerian military. Yoruba Nation activist Dr. Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho, alias Sunday Igboho, has described Igboho. I've been told to make sure that I pronounce that very well each time I'm doing so, and I hope those of you that are listening can get the sound. Igboho. I know the Biafrans are very difficult to pronounce it. They cannot pronounce Yoruba name, and sometimes we cannot pronounce their own name. But like I said, after this, I'll be telling you what Simon Ekpa said during his own broadcast New Year as well. He has described as misleading categorization of the agitation of the Yoruba nation as part of the threat to Nigeria peace. He was reacting to the remark credited to the Director of the Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, who listed the Yoruba self-determination movement as a threat to the peace in the Southwest Zone. Do you understand that? Imagine that they are saying that we are threat to the peace. How are we threat? Who have we killed? Who have we attacked? Who have we literally kidnapped? We have not kidnapped anybody. We have not attacked anybody. So why is the Nigerian military linking us with the Boko Haram terrorists that is also killing many, destroying many lives in what we call the contraction called Nigeria? Many of you that believe in Nigeria, it is your fundamental right to believe in Nigeria. But for those of us that do not believe in Nigeria, it is also our right to say that we must come on the round table and discuss everything that needs to be discussed in Nigeria. Let's go further. According to the Punch report, that Buba, while addressing the defense correspondent in Abuja last week Friday on the activities of the armed forces of Nigeria, claimed that security threats in various geopolitical zones differ, pointing out that the major threat in the Southwest remain the Yoruba Nation agitators. So I guess I am one of you. So that means that we will continue to tell the international community that our lives must not be taken away because we are asking for something. Nnamdi Kanu's life must not be taken away from him because he's asking for something. I understand that the British government have not done much when it comes to the case of Nnamdi Kanu. We hope that the current embassy and the High Commissioner, Dr. Richard Montegoro, will be doing everything to facilitate the release of the kidnapped rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya. Nnamdi Kanu was not traveling with a Nigerian passport, he was traveling with a British passport, but yet was kidnapped by the monster called Buhari. And yes, I call him a monster because Buhari was reminding the Igbos or the Biafrans that the red dot or the circle or whatever until he was stopped by Twitter. 8 years down the line, Buhari failed to stop insecurity because it's part of the insecurity. And I have something to back up that from one of the former security analysts, which is different from the one that we had earlier. So Igboho sent a message back to the military. Do not classify us. Do not put us together because you are the one that is compromised. The Nigerian military continue to be compromised. I am not a threat to Nigeria. I am only asking for my right, just as the Scottish people are doing the same thing. Maybe we should remind the Nigerian military this again.
In this state is under assault. There's an attempt at ethnic cleansing in this state and, of course, in all the riverine states of Nigeria. We must resist it. We must stop it. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits that kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one.
That is the former Chief of Army Staff, T.Y. Danjuma. And again, Igboho went further. In a statement he signed and made available to newsmen in Ibadan, in Oyo State, says the federal government under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should disregard such security report, which he described as blackmail. We are conscious of the noble effort of the armed forces of Nigeria to tackle terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and other forms of criminalities. But we take exemption to the wrong and baseless position of the Director of Media Operations, Buba, for identifying the Yoruba Nation movement as a major threat to the peace in the Southwest. Igboho went further to say, this is not only far from the truth, but also a flimsy excuse which showcased the failure of the Nigerian military to tackle the menace of the insecurity that continues to kill many people in the country called Nigeria today. Peace in Nigeria, most especially during the immediate past regime of the President Muhammadu Buhari, that actually opened the border and allowed the influx of Fulani terrorists, ISWAP, and all kinds of menace that many people cannot make it to their farm. Economic situation is down in the north, in the south, also in the southeast. Apart from the ignoble and vicious attacks on some of the states in the north, most especially in the northeast by the Boko Haram terrorists, bandits were controlling some local government. In some part of the north during Buhari's administration, they were literally collecting levies and some of the revenues on India. The Nigerian military could not do anything tangible to stop this act of threat against the territorial integrity of the nation. He alleged that rather than eliminate terrorists, they bombed individuals in Kaduna. Rather than the Nigerian military to eliminate terrorists, the military is chasing shadows and wrongfully accusing the Yoruba Nation movement of threat to the peace in the Southwest. This is just a figment of their own imagination, which we should ignore by descending Nigerians and other relevant stakeholders. This is coming from Oloye, Dr. Sunday Adeyemo, popular known as Sunday Igboho. And like I always say, we must not sit back. It is time that we speak out for the menace of what has happened. So I'm going to now play what the Simon Ekpa said during his own broadcast to the Biafrans on the 1st of July, sorry, on the 1st of January, this particular,
into this business more than a year ago, I had
this New Year message. Let's listen to Simon Ekpa.
Welcome the New Year. Let us reflect on the journey we have undertaken together. Despite physical distances, our collective spirit binds us in the pursuit of justice, freedom, and self-determination of Biafra. In 2019, in September 2019 to be precise, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu told the world that Biafra has come. And everybody, including myself, were all happy about the pronouncement of our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. in 2019. And I would like to take us back to this particular pronouncement of our leader, Mazen Amikano.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless you.
This particular pronouncement of Biafra has come was part of the propaganda for Biafra, a positive propaganda for Biafra. After that, he was kidnapped in Kenya in 2021. We are still here putting up the Biafra government structure together. We, the educated ones in the Biafra liberation, understand Mazen Amikano pronouncement of Biafra has come. And of course, including his pronouncement in the same 2019, when he called off the boycott of the election between the PDP and other political parties, where P2B was running as a running mate to Atiku Abubakar. In that announcement, our leader Mazen Amikano said, Biafra is sealed and delivered. Those of us understand the positive propaganda in this particular pronouncement. Today, we have said similar things, and those IPOB Nigeria whose agenda is to form and use IPOB as a political pressure group have used our positive propaganda announcement as a tool, which never worked for them. I just decided that in the speech of 2024 New Year, I will make references to this disgraceful act of uneducated nincompoop who have almost destroyed the effort of Mazen Amikano for over 30 years. What the Biafra government is doing today, for those who care to know, is the process of declaration of the restoration of independent state of Biafra.
And that is part of what the PM, Simon Epa said is a lengthy one. We will not be able to pick everything. That's about just 4 minutes. We'll be able to pick from there. You can listen to the rest, from his own social media handle. Let's now come back into the final part of this program. Like I said, at about 15:15, I'll be telling you everything we need to know when it comes to, the GoFundMe. Also, in the next couple of days, if all goes as planned, we're expecting, Oloyegbowo to be in America. Like I said, Oloyegbowo should be in America. We'll be confirming all that in the next couple of days to come. Not dates, I believe I'll be giving a little bit more insight of that, during the next 24 hours. But like I said, take a note of that. Oloyegbowo might be in America in the next couple of days. I will be telling you everything, and the reason for that, as I say, the movement of the Yoruba nation continue. At exactly 8 minutes past, we're just going to make one call, to Bishop to see if we can hear a little bit from him as one of our financial analysts on this platform. I know we're very, very pressed with time. We have just about 22 minutes left on this program. Shout out to many of you that have joined us. Remember that we have a lot to say, but again, I'll only have about 10 minutes of Bishop. It's a very, very busy schedule today. As I say, good evening, Bishop, and welcome to Niger Voices.
Hello?
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Let's hear from you.
you.
I know you've been trying to get into, to me, and I know you've been trying to get into the program, but like I said, it's been a very tight one, especially because of my guest that was telling me about a bit of security. Let's go straight into it. It's been the new year. I know there's a lot on the table. We haven't got much time, so I'm only giving you just about 5 minutes, maximum 10, because there's just not enough time. Let's know what is the current situation, in the country right now. I know that the petrol price is being looked into about 1,200. We played a video where a man was struggling to get money out of his bank account. The economy is not going very well. I've listened to a lot of different analysts that are saying that the investors are not bringing the money in because it just seems that they are not trusting the present administration. So let's take from you, what is the current situation in the new year? And then we can take more probably next week.
Thank you very much. It's still based on the economic insecurity. Nigeria is in battle from all fronts: economic insecurity, physical insecurity, and all that. Now, based on the economic insecurity, what next? Everything, they are not under the control of the Mr. President. Mr. President can only come out and appeal to Nigerian over it and say, oh, he's out of his power and all that. Nigerian is not being ruled by the decision of the president. It's a lay down instruction for him to just approve. Now, they are pegging a price of a liter to $1 now, and $1 goes for 1,200. So within the first quarter of this year, January, February, March, it has to be implemented. So Nigerian will buy a liter of fuel for 1,200 to stabilize the value of Naira to 1,200 to $1. If not, Naira will fall more beyond 1,200, and that is the meeting point to stabilize the Naira, and at the same time to be able to cushion the subsidy that was removed. So invariably, the subsidy is being looked into, and is going to be paid from the back side. So paying from the back side, meaning that it has been calculated into the price of the customer who is buying from the pump. And as you are buying from the pump, it is envisaged calculation into $1 for a liter price, so that the subsidy is settled from there. And above, and it also will be able to cushion and the Naira at that 1,200 per week. That is the meeting point as of now, and the NNPC is looking into it, and it has no option, and it has to be implemented within this January, February, or March. So when that is done, it means there is more high time for Nigerians. If a liter is going to be sold for 1,200, it means transportation will go high again, and Nigerians will cry more, and product sales will go high again. They are still buying a chicken for 25,000, 22,000. That shows before the end of the year, a chicken can go for 100,000. And those are the things. So Nigerians, those who want Nigeria should prepare for what Nigeria actually have in store for them. But for us who desire our whole nation, that we have prepared and hold our destiny in our hands.
Let me come back to you. Just about a few more minutes. So what you are saying is that the Naira continue to depreciate, if I'm getting it for the layman.
Yes, it continues to depreciate, and they look at something to cushion it. Maybe they can. It's not certain, but they felt maybe they can hold it as 1,200, and for them to hold it as 1,200, a liter of fuel should be bought at that price. So to push the dollar price, so it will be $1 for a liter. So Nigerians will pay for it. Nigerians.
The investors investors that the current administration promised that Nigerians will see. What has happened to these investors? Why are we not seeing the investors in the country? What is making investors not coming in? The president, I could tell you, recap. Remember, the president have been to Saudi Arabia. We were told that meetings and money will be coming in from the Arab country. The president attended India. We saw that there was a lot of engagement there as well. Anjuri and Jalali promised that Nigerians should not be worried because there's so much money coming into the market. The president was in Germany. German chancellor came into the country. The president just returned back from the COP28. What is happening? Where are these investors that President Bola Tinubu promised Nigerians?
Okay, it's left for President Bola Tinubu, but I know that there are no fools in the nations of the world. Only Nigerians are fools because Nigerians live in denial. So there are no fools in any country in the world. When you see investors leaving, Unilever has just left Nigeria. St. Louis just left Nigeria. About 4 different multinational companies just left Nigeria. And you feel that other multinationals will be coming. When they are seeing their partners or their equals leaving, don't you think they will ask those ones, what is making you to leave before they now come? So when those ones are leaving and you think that their brothers will now come, what are they coming to do? They are not going to come. So the Nigerians are the only ones that are fools. No, there are no fools around the world anymore. So Bola Tinubu can promise heaven and earth they are bringing investors, and even those they are bringing, they are not wooing them with capital. They are wooing them with waivers. They are wooing them with reduction of charges. Imagine what country does that. So those people they are even wooing know there's nothing tangible for them. That these ones are canker worms. If you put your money in that country, you're going to lose it because they are begging you. Okay. In nations of the world, they don't beg investors. They show investors an enabling environment. The investors see the enabling environment, accept and come. So you don't beg them. Thank you.
The last one before you go, the former governor of Ogun State, Olusegun Oshoba, was interviewed in Nigeria. He talked about Tinubu begging or pleading that many people that have money should try to bring those money back. And I'm just reading, Oshoba reveals the major problems Tinubu inherited from Buhari. The former governor of Ogun State, Olusegun Oshoba, on Tuesday revealed the major problem President Bola Ahmed Tinubu inherited from his predecessors, Muhammadu Buhari. Not too sure whether they should arrest Buhari right now for bringing the country into where it is. While speaking on the mainstream media in Nigeria, the former governor said some of the problems Tinubu inherited from Buhari were naira scarcity, religious killings, and intercommunal clashes in the country. I want us to focus on the naira. You have been talking about Ruba, which again and again, many people are not buying into the Ruba. What is the current Ruba price as of today?
Yeah, okay. It's not true that many people are not buying into Ruba. That was the story 7 months ago. Many people are now buying into Ruba. And Ruba now has exchange platform in pound sterling. You can collect Ruba in pounds now or pay for Ruba in pounds. In Sefa, in Naira, in Gambia, Galaxy, in UAE, that pay Dubai money, and in Libya money. So, and there in this year, we are working on partner front in Chinese Yuan, and we are working in Russian rubles and in Japanese yen to add to the exchange table. So Ruba is on the international market and trading fire and expanded. The traffic it was so high this December that the capacity of our customer care was overstretched. And so that many people are not buying into Ruba. That is whole story. Ruba is not trading. So that's one. So the purpose why those ones are asking that Nigerians should, diaspora who has money should bring it in is because United States just stopped free dollar loans to CBNs around the world. That memo came out last December. So they are not going to be borrowing them dollars the way they borrow them short loans like that anymore. America has started dollar recall. Dollar recall means that they are taking back all their dollars all around the world back to America to strengthen American dollar currency. So because the BRICS have started de-dollarization, so they now embrace the Chinese yuan, and the BRICS, about all of them now trading on yuan. So it reduces the influence of dollar, and it makes dollar to have a bit. I can't hear you.
Okay. Well, I wanted you to focus on, not the one from the diaspora. I'm talking about the former governor of Ogun State says, and I quote, that the President Bola Tinubu will sign an executive order to encourage Nigerians against borrowing the money. It seems that many Nigerians are keeping the money, and that is the reason why there's scarcity.
That's what I'm trying to explain. So the reason why they are looking at that is because they need the forex. And they need the forex because they depleted their own foreign reserve. And so there is no backing for Naira. There's no backing for Naira. Why will you be begging your citizens who have foreign reserve to bring it home? What about the politicians? They should ask Tinubu himself. They should ask Atiku and all that. When they want to do election, were they not bringing dollar in? Where did they get it from? From the so why are they telling other Nigerians now? Because it's in government, and the dollar, they need the dollar. That is the reason why the CPN instructs Nigerian banks now to accept crypto, because they know that the cryptocurrency have access to all those hard currencies from crypto. Before they told their banks not to allow crypto. Now they are opening it because they need the forex. They need to this forex, the hard currency, to back up the budget for this year, and they don't have it. But they are not using it for the progress of Nigerians. Don't get it twisted. Don't think that they want to use it for further progress of Nigeria or economy of Nigeria. No, they want to use it for their own political elite consumption. Look at what happened in Dubai, the conference they had in Dubai. Just waste of expenditures, and they have to pay in dollars. These are money that's supposed to be used for our forex exchange. Nigeria does not have enough forex to back Naira, and that Naira cannot trade international platforms successfully. It can only they can only devalue it the more to help the little ones they have. So they are trying now to open the door, every avenue that can bring in that currency to them. So they open crypto, and at the same time they are canvassing for Nigerians that have currency or to bring it home. So that is the reason, and it's not supposed to be when the organization or the country is economy is running well. Thank you.
Next week we're gonna be together. We're gonna be discussing Nigerian students living Japa. How do they raise these foreign exchange now that the scarcity of the Naira is out there? And you also promised us that you were giving us, is it 5 individuals for Ruba?
The price for...
You actually told us that,
You mean the price for Ruba?
No, you said that, the 5 first individuals were meant to have that program. We haven't had that program yet. Is it going to be the first 5 callers?
Okay. The Ruba giveaway.
Yeah, Ruba giveaway.
Ruba giveaway program.
Should we leave that till next week Wednesday?
When you are ready.
Okay, all right. So what we're gonna do is Bishop Adesina has promised us, is it 5 individuals, and they would have to have their own Ruba wallet. Must they have the Ruba wallet in advance?
Yeah. 5 caller. Yes. 5 caller. You're gonna hold a call-in program, and 5 first callers they will get app Ruba, which is $6, and they can use it to celebrate New Year.
Okay.
They can collect it in pounds. Once they can collect it in naira or in sefa. Once they credit the Ruba, they call our customer care. They help them exchange and credit the fiat account as they desire.
All right. Thank you so much, Bishop. That was a very brilliant 60 minutes.
Thank you.
Shout out to you, and we hope to speak to you next week, Wednesday, where we're going to have, the full program of the Nigerians that are Japa making their way to UK and America. Let me pick some of your comments quickly because we're now 6 minutes before the end of the program. My name is still OLAYOMI KOIKI. This is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. If you're new to the platform, remember to subscribe, follow us, share the program. If you have any concern, if you have any worry of what we have said here, you have any input, you want to add to it, you want to reduce out of it, you can reach out to us at info@starradiouk.com, or you can call into the studio number, which is 20202 020 8813 22567. I'll take that again. 0208 133 2257. That number will link you straight to the studio. You can call my mobile number where you can be able to tell me your concern. How concerned are you with the present situation in Nigeria? Are you concerned or are you not worried? Are you just like, you know what? It is what it is. But remember, this is still the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. I will tell you a little bit more about the GoFundMe in just about a few minutes. According to, Comrade Plan B, Ogumola Abiodun said the Nigerian leaders and economics in the government are not all serious people. And thank you so much. You also went further to say, Nigeria is a country without database. Let's pull it down and let's celebrate freedom in our respective countries. Also, Wari Jinodu, my brother, my uncle, my father, says the petrodollar. Where is the petro naira face value? It seems that the naira is losing value very, very fast. He also went further to say it's better to demonetize the naira and monetize more tangible resources to back any future currency of Yoruba nation. Thank you so much. You went further to say how much fall is a fall? Zimbabwe $1 million note print barely buy a cup of tea and a bread. Maybe one day you might be buying chicken for 100,000 naira. Shout out to those of you right there in the TikTok. I can see you there. Appreciation to many of you that have joined us, to my beautiful mother, to my family. Happy New Year once again. If it's your first time joining us, remember to follow us on all the platforms on the Star Radio UK network.
Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
24/7, Monday to Friday, we're live here. As I leave you in just about 3 minutes before I hand over back to the producer, my name again is OLAYOMI KOIKI. We've come up with fundraising. We need money to be able to produce certain much work that we do both here in UK and in Nigeria, where we are currently operating from in the southwest part in Yoruba land. We need your assistance, we need your support, we need you to come out and help the platform so that we can be able to do and add more to what we are doing for humanity. That means that on the 31st of December, as we were heading into the new year, myself and the management, we decided to pull up together a GoFundMe to the tune of £50,000. If you're new to the platform and you want to find out more about these GoFundMe, you can find it exactly on the platform where the GoFundMe has been set up. What again is the reason for this setup? Like I said, we need to do some more upgrade. We need to make sure that we can be able to do a little bit more as soon as we have the funding. We need the funding to be able to get going, especially as there's a lot to cover when it comes to not just the movement, but also to the sister broadcast Koikimedia. So if you like to help us support with the GoFundMe, what you can do is just to make sure that you follow the platform, and then you'll be able to see a little bit more of reasons behind it as well. If you need to ask more questions, you can email, and if you need to donate, remember it is voluntary as well. You can pull up your money if you don't want to volunteer for it, if you don't want to volunteer, but I don't think any of you want to do so. With 50,000 people, we can raise that money as well. As I was coming into the studio, I was reading the Metro newspaper. They are having a charity walk, and they are planning to raise £1 million. Every organization raise money for different purposes and different projects. Mine is to support the work of a freelance journalist. That is how far we can take it tonight. It's just coming up to 1 minute before 8:30. I wish I can go a little bit further, but I'm already getting the signal to return back into the studio. Shout out to many of you that have joined us. Remember to follow me on all my social media handle. It is the same name, Koikimedia. You will not miss that. I'll be back with Archie tomorrow. And again, remember to stay safe and be very, very security conscious wherever you are in Nigeria. I pray Nigeria will not happen to you, but you also do whatever you have to do to protect yourself, especially as so many things is going wrong in the country. This is special to Oloye here from the studio, and I say you can take over, my producer. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll be back same time next week. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. Bye for now.
ọmọ Ìbàràpá lápapọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ àdúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àti ọmọ Yorùbá lápapọ̀ tilẹ̀ tó kó ẹ̀mí àbọ̀ ẹ̀bá nǹkan wọn Adéyẹmọ Chief Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho orúkọ ńlá tí ń jámọ̀ láyà bí ara orúkọ tó ń dẹ́rù bó lórúkọ gan-an ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ má sùn o torí pé kùrà a kò lè fojú kégbodò láyé títa ríro lẹ̀dá ń kọlà wúrà tó máa dán alànà kọjá dandan o. ọ̀wọ́n irin ní má bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ̀nà ẹ̀dá kan lè ṣe wá lọ́nà mọ́ ẹjẹ́ àtìmọ̀ṣọ́ kan ká lè débi re ẹjẹ́ àjọ gbárùkù ti Sunday Ìgbòho ṣá ọmọ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ nílùú Alágbàdo Òde ọmọ atagbẹ̀tẹ̀ wọnú omi ọmọ dèdèlè wodò sànyà ìsànyà ò rẹ́ràn bàbá yín láàrin ìdí omi kò sí náà ń kán sí yín lẹ́nu ọmọ òkúta mẹ́ta òkè Ìgbòho ìkan ń ṣe yín ní dábọ̀dàbọ̀ ìkan ní mọ́ rọra ìkan tó kù nígbà tí wọ́n mọ̀ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ kí ló dé Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ sí ọmọ òpópó sanran ìgbàgede Ìgbòho sùn wọn láláìsí bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọn ní kó ní bẹ̀rẹ̀ ó máa kó bẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ ẹ̀sìn òní bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ bẹ́sìn bá bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho á fi kan pọpọ sí amúkan yòókù bọ sànyà àtúmúyà rẹ̀ tí ò lọ́rọ̀ bọ́ á fi ṣẹrù wálé wàràmùjẹ ọmọ onílé ọ̀la àwọn àjòjì tó ń ṣe ségesège tán láwọn ò ní bomi kó sí mu wọn láwọn ò ní bomi sànyà wẹsẹ̀ ìgbà tójú kò fi rí ńkọ́ gbogbo wọn náà sáré bomi kó sí mu wọn sì bomi sànyà wẹsẹ̀ ọmọ abẹ́rẹ́ mẹ́ta òde ayé ọ̀kan ṣẹ́ ọ̀kan tẹ̀ ọ̀kan tó kù ní gbogbo ayé tí ránṣọ kiri gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá Sunday Ìgbòho onírẹ̀lẹ̀ láéláé torí àbá lásán nìkan ń dá òkúta ò ṣe gbé fún wọn o ìmọ̀ràn lásán ni ti balùwẹ̀ kò pọ́sibú kó dòdò láyé ń bí ó kún díẹ̀ kí tọ́ domi láéláé ìtọ́ mi lè domi Sunday Ìgbòho arógun má ti di tó jà fẹ́tọ̀ Yorùbá ní tilé tó kó.
And that is how far I can go. I wish I can go a little bit more. I'm going to take a screenshot. I love the background tonight. So let me take a screenshot of myself with all this beautiful background and every single one of you. Thank you so much for joining me again tonight. And I think I should have that background as well. Thank you so much for being part of the program. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. I hope you've enjoyed the program. Remember that next week again, we'll be back again. So let's take another, capture everyone. Everyone is in. I think, capture everyone. Nobody's not missing out. Nobody's not missing out. And this is how we keep, record of what we do as well. Thank you so much. I got to go now. I have a long way back home. And to bá ṣe ń darapọ̀ mọ́ alákọ̀ọ́kọ́ ẹ bá wa pín ètò náà ẹ má yẹ kí wọ́n tàn yín kò sí ọ̀hún tó ń jẹ́ Nàìjíríà ó ti collapse tó bá dé collapse ó ti di dọ̀rọ̀ pé a máa collapse ẹ̀ orúkọ tèmi ni OLAYOMI KOIKI tí gbogbo yín mọ̀ sí Koikimedia. Shout out and peace, love and unity. Yorùbá nation, no going back. No going back, tá a sọ yẹn pé no going back náà ni gbogbo àwọn tó bá sọ pé à ń go back wọ́n tanra wọn. We will end Nigeria from outside and from inside. We will collapse Nigeria. Nigeria might collapse. It's just a matter of when, how soon, and how dedicated we are. We are saying enough is enough. We've had enough of the contraction called Nigeria. So that is about it. Thank you so much. Bye for now. I gotta go. Yoruba Nation is definitely going to happen in our lifetime. So let me end it from here. Bye for now.
Maybe blue check. Jacamo. That's Igbo. On that you are confused. The life is too much. Jacamo. Let's go.